variations are permitted as long as it's distinguishable somehow. And, in particular, yes, the R, which is a problem for most languages. It can be any rhotic sound. It can be R, it can be R, it can be R. It's really, really nice. Oh yeah, the punctuation characters. These are not punctuation in our usual sense. They're sounds, but they're kind of like half sounds or something. The accent is like h, ahead, but the point, the full stop, it just means you have to make a pause in speaking. Like usually you can run lojban words on another. You don't have to make a pause anywhere, except for special cases. And in these cases, you put a period there. And the comma is you don't have to write this usually, but if you do, because you don't speak it, it's not spoken. It means it's a non-standard syllable break. This occurs in some words. I'll show you an example later. So, how do you build a basic sentence? I've already showed you this pattern up there, which illustrates the concept. It has a predicate, in this case comes to, which is in lojban called a breedy. I'll use this word from time to time. And the arguments are called sumti in lojban. So it's predicate and arguments. You can remember this. And the syntax is, as shown here, always the first argument comes first, then comes the predicate or relation, and then the rest of the arguments after it. There's no filling in between the words. It's just run them one after another. This usually makes it the way, because the reason why we have the first argument in first is this makes it often have the same form as the subject-verb-object form in most natural languages. Oops. You'll see it later. So, we need some words, of course, to make a real lojban sentence. First, we need some objects or subjects, which will be persons in this case because it's very easy to use names. So the cast is Pesco and Maya. Pesco, that's my nickname, and Maya is in the audience. To use these names, we'll lojbanize them. This is necessary to make the grammar unambiguous. And we could also use the original spelling and pronunciation of the names, but this would require some kind of escaping construct, which is available, like for instance, like say you want to write something in lojban, you want to mention Goethe, and you want people to recognize the name by its spelling, then you can use this. But usually it's too cumbersome. So how do you lojbanize a name? You transcribe it phonetically, just use the letters so it sounds right in the end. And there's two restrictions. It must end in a consonant. This is just something that the grammar says. And it must end in a pause, because you have to know where does the name end, on which consonant is the end of the name. So you have to put a pause there. So doing this, this is the result. This is pronounced, ma, yar. The consonant is arbitrarily chosen. You can use anything that sounds right, and peskos is me. And the period says the pause. And now this little particle la, I've said here, this is the name itself, and this is the sumti form. If you want to use it as an argument in a sentence, you have to put la in front of it. It's just a flag word that says a name follows, also for grammatical unambiguity. So la says, here's the name, it starts, and the pause says, oh, here's the end of the name. So, what's our example relation? The word is klama. It means to come or go somewhere. It has 5 arguments, or direct arguments. You can add more with special words if you need them. Their order is, of course, significant, and this is called the place structure of the word. That explains what it means. You have klama, you write it in the syntax that I've said before, and then you have the arguments 1 through 5, and that's what it means. First argument is the person or whatever is coming somewhere. The second argument is where it's going. Third, where it's coming from. Fourth is the way that I'm using or that X1 is using, and 5 is supposed to be some kind of vehicle or means of transportation or whatever. Yeah? There's for example, you can put a word in the X4 place. Oh yeah, the question was, I'm sorry. The question was, what do you do if you want to leave one of the arguments in the middle out? There's a little word which is zohe, which means this place is unimportant. Yeah. So you can put that there. There's also some other ways, like if you just want to say the X5 argument and you need none of the others, then you don't want to go zohe, 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 zohe and have your peers counting all the time. There's some words that you could use to rearrange this place structure. Like you put a little modifier word in front of klama, and then it becomes like, instead of coming from somewhere, coming to something, it becomes coming from, and so on. But these are details. I'm going to skip them in this talk. They're in the paper, though. If you read the paper version, I'm going to give you the URL. It'll be explained in more detail. So now we know all the pieces for a first sentence. The relation is klama, and the arguments are la pescos and la mayar. And so this is how you say it. First argument, relation. Second argument. What's this? Shu, it's a structure word. It's a flag word that says after this word there's the relation, the breedy. You can usually leave it out, but in some instances it's useful to put it. So I just said it here. Yeah. Also, you see there's only 2 arguments given. You can just drop the last ones. Leave them out. There's always a maximum of 5 arguments for these relation words. You always drop the last ones that you're not interested. This is equivalent to saying zohe for the last few arguments. It's the same meaning, just easier to say. Now, if we want to have some more interesting objects or subjects than only names of people or places, you can use, for example, pronouns or prosumti, as they're called in lojban, or by lojbanists. They're the analog of pronouns. The thing is, why I'm always saying sumti and stuff is because the usual grammatical categories of, say, verb and object and subject don't really apply because of the different structure of lojban. So that's why you just use slightly the lojban word for them. So here you see a list. Mi, do, ti, ta, me, you, this, that. You put them in any of the sumti places, just like this. No extra whatever. You just put it. Yeah.
So the pro prefix has
No. This is so. Pro sumti is not a lojban word. This is a mixture. It's a bastard, but that's a term that's used by the lojbanists. Another way of getting your objects are articles. These, there are different ones. There are different words like this. You see le in this example, which is close in meaning to the English the. There are some others that have like an indefinite article or something like this. What this word does, le in specific now, it turns a relationship like before, as you used to build sentences, into an argument. So it basically says the thing that is in this relation or that would fit this relation. That's what it says. There's the next slide will explain it. Again, ku is a terminated word which is necessary to put there in case ambiguity could result, but usually you can leave it out. So to give you an example, the word gunka means X1 works on X2 with goal X3. And now if you say la gunka, it means the workers. It means something, some specific thing that I have in mind which would fit the X1 place of gunka. It's always the X1 place. If you want another place, you have to use a modifier word on gunka, which switches the place structure. As I've said before, these are available. So if you want to say something, the work, it would be, the X2 place, something that fits the X2 place of gunka, you would say le se gunka. The se is a modifier word that says swap the places X1 and X2. So le se gunka is the work. Also note that there's neither singular or plural implied. These things you could mean a set of things. There are other ways to specify the cardinality of whatever you're talking about. Okay, let's go to some more features. So now you know the basic sentences. You can say, I'm going there and I'm coming to the market or whatever. This is not interesting, of course, usually. What you say is more complicated. Just for instructive purposes, let me introduce some of this. Tenses in lojban. Usually, a tense means something with respect to time. In lojban, it also means something with respect to space. Usually, you say a tense to mean, well, whatever is going on at this and that point, either in the future or in the past. In lojban, you use the same thing to say it's going on in front of me or behind me or left or up or wherever, because it's the same concept. It's just a different dimension, So the system for using this is actually quite flexible in lojban. You can say stuff like, well, very far in the future, I'm going to be working slightly to the left of myself and very, very deep below. This is, you can say these things. It's not really complicated. I'm just not going to explain it here for reason of time constraints. This also works. The way this works is, again, you attach a modifier word to the breedy, which means this relation that you're thinking about. Whatever is in the relation is in this relation in some other time or some other place. So, as an example, let me tell you the basic temporal modifiers. Pu for past. Sha is present and ba is future. So if I say la peskos ba klama la maya, it means that I will be going to Maya at some point in the future. It doesn't say specifically very soon or very, very, very late. It just says it's in the future with respect to the point of time at which I'm expressing this. So when I say it now, it means tomorrow or something, and if I say tomorrow, it means the day after or whatever. Yeah. Another interesting but not so complicated part of lojban grammar is how to ask a question. This is important, of course. There are basically two kinds. One are questions after truth values, like is it true that this and this holds? And the other are fill-in-the-blanks questions. I'll give you more details now. First, for truth value questions. These are really easy to make. You just prefix your entire statement with the particle hu, which means does the whatever is coming after it, does this hold? Is this true? So this question that I'm having here, hu la maya klama la peskos, means is it true that Maya comes to or goes to Pascal? There you go. Real simple. I'm not going to give you the details about answering right now. It's simple. Of course, you can just repeat the statement. This is cumbersome. There are shortcuts for this. You can read it in the paper. It's kind of interesting because lojban doesn't have actually the words for yes and no. There's no word like this. There's, like, say for yes, you use a word that means, which is a placeholder, kind of like prosumti, but not assumti. It stands for an entire sentence. It means repeat the last sentence. So I just say repeat the last sentence to you, and this means yes. If I want to say no, I prefix this word by a little negation particle, the regular negation particle. I say repeat the last sentence, but no.
Actually, you should say repeat the last sentence, but omit the who.
Oh yeah, that's true, of course. Yeah, there was a remark. The who is not considered part of the last sentence because saying the last sentence, it's kind of sloppy.